Hello everyone. Yeah, good morning. We are creating these video lectures in order to help you out to understand all concepts of computer programming and make use of these video lectures to understand the concepts again and again, then reuse the video lectures so that you can learn at your own pace. So I am creating this PPS programming for problem solving lectures session by session, and in this particular video we will try to understand what are the concepts of first unit of PPS, what concepts are there and what are the concepts that we have discussed and what concepts need to be discussed. So we will list out concepts of unit 1 and we will start working on each and every concept slowly. Right. So let us kickstart our first video lecture. Let me list out the important concepts of Unit 1. So in Unit 1, we have firstly what is an algorithm and flowchart, then basic programming constructs of C language. So basic programming construct means what are the basic elements of C programming, like what is a variable, what is a data type, all basic things. Then you have conditional statements, which includes if and switch case. Then followed by that, you have something called as loops, right? Loops are used when you want to repeat a particular operation for certain number of times. Suppose I want to print a message 10 times. So the job remains the same, but it has to be done 10 number of times. Suppose I want to print a multiplication table. So when I want to do some operation, what a multiplication table will involve? It involves multiplication. So multiplication is the operation which is repeated 10 times and the number changes. So the input number remains same, right? And the multiplier will change. It is 1, 2, 3, and so on. So the operation basically remains same, that is multiplication, but it has to be done on different data and it has to be repeated for 10 times. So in such case, I use a loop. So these are basic programming constructs, and before that one should know, like these things which are actually not part of your syllabus, right? So we do have something called as, before I move on to basic programming constructs, you should know how a program gets executed. So what do you mean by compilation, execution, etc.? So how a program works, how a program gets executed, these are the things. So in our regular classwork, we have seen so many basic components which are not part of the syllabus, but they are very, very important. So those important concepts include, they are, so first of all, why should I learn programming? So the discussion starts with the question, why should I learn programming? So what is the need for programming? So this is what one should understand before actually learning any programming language, or when you are a new comer to programming, when you are a beginner to programming, one should know first of all what exactly is the use of programming. Why should I learn programming? If this question is answered, then you have a reason for studying or learning programming. Then the very important concept is evolution of programming languages, right? So why these programming languages came into picture? So that is an important concept under which we have discussed procedural programming, various programming paradigms like structured programming, even we have used the word object oriented programming. Then C comes under both procedural and structured programming. We had a elaborated discussion on these concepts like evolution of programming languages, right? We have also discussed words like what is a high level language, machine level language, etc. Then this is evolution of programming languages, which we have already discussed. So I'm not going to discuss right now in this particular video, but for every topic, we will be providing you a video lecture, right? So as far as your examination is concerned, right, we do have some other concepts like arrays in unit 1, but we are not going to consider arrays as part of mid examination, so you need not worry about arrays. So this is the basic concepts like need for programming. One should know evolution of programming languages, how programming languages evolved, different programming paradigms, which we have discussed already, right? And I'll be creating separate videos on each and every topic. So even though they were discussed in the class, I'll give you a video for every topic. But initially, I'll be focusing on some of the concepts which were not yet discussed in the class, but they are required for upcoming mid examination. So what these are the things which we have initially thought of. Like there are some other concepts like arrays which were not yet discussed, and maybe we don't consider them for upcoming mid examination. So if you look at the content now, need for programming, evolution of programming languages, we have already discussed. Then most important concept, memory addressing. So friends, basically you know, two basic elements of any program, any language. The two basic elements of any program are code and data. And why do we write program? We write program to process data. So if you don't know where the data gets created, how the data gets created, how the data gets stored, where the data gets stored, if you don't know all these things, you can't process the data properly. So that's the reason one should understand memory addressing, which is also called as byte addressing concept in detail, which we have discussed in our class. And for memory addressing also, a one more video lecture will be created for your reference. So memory addressing means the data which we create, right, while programming, the data gets created in main memory, which is also called as RAM. And how this main memory is organized and how memory is allotted for my data, that is explained under a concept called as memory addressing, which is very very important, and it was discussed in detail in the class. So need for programming, evolution of programming languages, memory addressing, these are the concepts which we have already discussed in detail, and again a separate video will be created for each and every topic for the sake of reference. Now, the topics which are as present in your syllabus as part of Unit 1, they include algorithm, flowchart, compilation, execution, how a C program is compiled, executed, that we know very well, and basic programming constructs, which includes following things, data types. So, what is an identifier, variable, data types, operators, operator precedence, then etc. Then you have conditional statements, if condition and switch condition. They are used to run certain statements only when a particular condition appears or particular condition occurs. So under conditional statements, you have if condition and switch condition. Then you have loops, as we have discussed earlier. Loops are used for iterations or repetitive operations. So friends, this is what is basically we are going to focus as part of your mid one examination, even though there are some concepts which are part of your syllabus, but we are not considering them for mid examination. Arrays is one concept probably which we are going to skip for now. Means it will not be considered for your mid examination. So the focus will be on these concepts. So in these concepts, we will initially start with algorithm and flowchart, because the first three concepts we have discussed in detail in the class. However, we'll try to provide a video lecture for those previous concepts also. So we will start with algorithm and a flowchart. Let us try to understand what is algorithm and flowchart in detail as part of our next video. Then we will slowly move on to the concepts like variables, identifiers, data types, operators, operator precedence, and if possible, we'll try to write some sample programs also. So friends, this is what is a basic introduction. This is what is uh, the actual action plan. This is how we are going to move on in our particular PPS or programming for problem solving subject. So we create video for every topic and we share these video lectures with you for your reference. And probably for first three topics, we have spent a lot of time in our class. So I may not give you an immediate video lecture for these three topics. Maybe it's not even required because of the time which we have spent on these three topics. However, we will try to give a video lecture, but as of now, we will start with algorithm and flowchart. Let us understand algorithm and flowchart in detail in the next video. So this is what is the basic intro, and I hope you understood the flow. So we'll be moving on to algorithm and flowchart in the next video. Thank you.